Awesome. I
Yeah,
don't. I
we. Uh-oh, and she's gone. What happened?
I don't know. We shall find out.
He said, "Screw you guys." For those of you just joining us on YouTube, we had Cindie Harper, and then
we
like a spirit, she vanished into the ether.
She lasted a whole 1 minute. That is a
Yeah,
record. That
we were
Bucky.
telling her about ourselves, and she said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home." I'm sure she'll be back momentarily.
Ah, there she
There we
is.
go. There she is.
Oh. Oh. Well, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to pre-game part of Old World Paranormal Podcast. You know, that is one feature that you get to see on YouTube is us before
What's the
we.
matter? Were the rules too strict for you, or what, Cindy?
no, absolutely not. I don't know what's going on over here.
She
Oh my!
said, "Screw you
I
guys, I'm going home."
I
That
was like,
was
no, 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 we're not gonna do this.
that was a record. I think about a minute into talking, she was like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah,
No
and the
rules
first
in
one to
this
ever do it.
room.
Oh goodness, that was funny. But
I
yeah,
was like, what happened? I was like, oh, wait, they must have kicked me out.
not yet.
You guys
But
would be
yeah,
like,
we were just saying to everyone joining us on YouTube, thanks for joining. And this is the fun part. You get to see behind the scenes what happens before we actually start recording the podcast, where the good stuff happens. Oh, that was too funny.
I was like, oh shoot, they kicked me off.
Yeah. Nah,
I was like, am I that offensive already?
hell
I
no.
was say we haven't even
We
started
like to
yet.
terrorize people, so
Oh, I think it's fun. There's quite a few people I can think of that I would like to terrorize. I try to be nice most of the time.
I gotta know. So we were messaging back and forth, and you're like, "Is there anything that you need?" I said, maybe a short bio. Tell me you copy and pasted that and sent it to me, right?
Oh yeah, of course I did.
I was thinking to myself, I opened that up, I'm like, that's the short bio? Like,
Yeah, super short. Yep. Copy and paste version all the way.
all right. So yeah, we're pretty laid back, chill. We'll ask you a couple questions. We'll see where it goes from there. Have some fun. Um, there, no limitations. You can say whatever you want, however you want it.
Even better.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
We used to, this was just well, we still do it. We still rip the audio. It goes on all major podcast formats, but we added the YouTube portion of it live. I think at episode 100.
Yes.
Was
yeah.
it
It was a
100?
little while back.
So
Yeah,
not too many of them. We're just trying to help out the YouTube channel. That's the one we've been really lackadaisical with. So
that's a big word you just used there. Spell
don't
it.
ask me how to spell it.
Okay,
Don't
see.
ask me. Don't ask me.
Yeah, don't ask me either.
LAX the days. Oh, there we go.
Nope, see, you screwed up
I
already.
screwed it up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah,
Other
and
than
YouTube
that,
also gives the viewers a chance to interact and ask questions and stuff like that. So, at certain parts throughout the evening, if we get questions, we'll pick those out, throw them your way, and give you a chance to answer them. So,
Sounds excellent.
Sean, or do you have plenty of info for your intro?
yeah, I think so. If not, we'll catch up later.
We got 4 minutes. I mean, if you need to go, I don't know, get a drink, go to the bathroom, smoke something.
I've already had some drinks. I should be good and prep for the show. Just kidding.
Reiki master, huh?
So you guys need to drink to talk to me?
No.
I'm kidding.
You're a Reiki master also?
Yeah, I'm a Reiki master. I got my Reiki master in Hawaii. It's pretty cool.
I just stayed there.
Yeah, I lived there for 8 years, and don't ask me why I moved back because I don't know.
Volcanoes, that would make
That
me
those
leave.
darn family members, I tell you.
Yeah, family, volcanoes,
Yeah,
weird laser beams coming out of the sky and burning cities for no reason.
right. Tsunamis,
No, I
you know,
mean,
just
And then those
whatever.
mysterious ghostly tribes that walk around with torches and stuff. I
Oh, the
can't remember what they're called.
Menahunis. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
is it true that the natives in Hawaii hate us mainlanders?
So it depends on your attitude. So at first they're a little, leery of you. And then after they get to know you, they determine whether or not you're cool. And luckily they determined I was cool because I like to surf. So I had a lot in common. And
That
obviously I'm pretty friendly. So I mean, I'm not too bad, I guess. For the most part, I didn't have any trouble. But if you go in with like a really bad attitude and you're just a jerk and stuff, then they don't care for you. But that's anywhere. I had no problems with them whatsoever. I loved it over there.
would I fit in since I'm short and round?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. They would love you.
Hey, Sean, Hawaiian people love me.
Yep.
They would love to
I really
sacrifice you
think
to
they
a
would. For
volcano.
real. They're great people.
Yeah, you'd be the first one they toss in to kill away, buddy.
I mean, I think it depends on if you're rude or not. So if you're rude, I mean, maybe you got a good chance of being thrown into the lava or the ocean.
And you wouldn't float, Nick. You did. Gone.
I'm like, I can't float in
You
water. I
fell
ain't gonna float in
into
lava.
a burning ring of fire.
All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
So, towards the end of the podcast, we'll ask you 3 specific questions that we ask every guest that comes on the show. Once those questions are done, we'll give you as much time as you want to plug away anything and everything that you want to plug away.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Recording to the cloud.
Welcome back one more time to the Old World Paranormal Podcast, episode number 111. Moving right along, coming off of our great interview last week with Sean Bowman of Bump in the Night Society. Jen was not feeling very well, so she wasn't able to make it. Hopefully, she's feeling better by now and making Sean's life a living hell like she usually does. Hopefully, we'll see her back in some costume doing some goofy stuff here soon. So,
She was back to her normal self at the Appalachian Paracon.
define normal. Yeah, see, you really can't do that with Jen because she's beyond normal, but we love her to death.
Love you, Jen.
No. Nick, you had the weekend off, took some time to recharge the old batteries, yeah?
I did. I enjoyed it. We did take some time to go look at a location to research for our project. And other than that, we did absolutely nothing. It was amazing. Recharged the batteries, and getting ready to hit the road for Pittsburgh this weekend for Spectrums of the Spring, Bump of the Night Society's podcast, or not podcast, but convention. Looking forward to that. If you guys are there, come listen to me and Bree speak and enlighten your day at 2:45 p.m.
Guaranteed to make your day something.
We'll probably shut down the convention after that because we will ruin everybody's day and moods. And but anyways, just come to it.
Yeah.
Be fun.
So Nick, I decided something here recently.
Oh shit.
So yeah, and I'm going to put this in my will. So when I'm dying, right, when I know when I'm in that position and I'm ready to go at any time, I want the whole team there by my bedside with all the equipment you can bring. And I want you all to be there when I die. Because you know what? I was doing a little bit of investigating and researching. Nobody has ever come out publicly with any information that they've done that. Being there with all this equipment at the moment of somebody's death, wouldn't that be interesting?
Well,
I mean,
Sean, that is
and
an
the emotion,
excellent.
oh my gosh.
That's an excellent thought process and an excellent question, and I think that is an excellent way to lead into our phenomenal guest tonight. And we're just going to have her answer that question, what she thinks
That's what
about
you
it.
call a segue, Nick.
I can't spell it.
I know.
Look,
I
for the
SEGU, but anyway.
111th time, Coletta, I am a floor guy and a ghost guy. I am
This is
not
true. This is true. Well, as you said there, a great segue into today's guest. Today's guest is Cindie Harper. She has a lot of everything: energy reader, Reiki master, director of history and paranormal at Sweet Springs Sanitarium, and also an author. Um, before we begin any question here, I want to ask you a question, Cindie. What is the difference between a sanitarium and a sanatorium?
Oh, good
So
question.
I like that you're giving me these hard questions all at the beginning. Just get it
Well,
out
that's
of
a
the way.
softball. We're just getting started.
So they're basically, it's the same thing. It was a matter of wordplay back in the day. And I believe when I was reading up on some of the history of different places, I want to say that I remember from what I read, it was a matter of like across, out of the United States and
Okay.
inside the United States. So from what I remember reading, I believe the sanitarium part was mostly in the United States. However, they were interchangeable. So, I mean, as far as I know, they are the same exact thing. It's just a matter of who's spelling it and how they're using it, I guess.
Perfect. I always wondered that, though. Figured it'd be a good time to ask.
Yep. Why not?
I would think it would be like a regional thing.
That's kind of where I was thinking, like, because it seems like on the East Coast, a lot of people call it sanitarium, but also I noticed like the South usually calls it, sanitariums. So when we had it up and running, a lot of people mix it up and you'll see people like that come and visit, they'll call it sanatorium. It's not, it's sanitarium. It was officially, a West Virginia sanitarium.
Gotcha.
All
Ooh,
right.
West Virginia. We're gonna definitely dive into that here
Oh, yeah.
later in the podcast. But before we go any further, and we dive into everything we want to know about Cindie Harper, Cindie, what do you think of what Sean said? Do you think that is just ludicrous thinking and he's a complete idiot, or do you think he's onto something?
Well, I mean, he might be an idiot, but I don't know because I don't know him that well. No, I'm just kidding.
Nick will
Okay.
tell you I am. So
See, she
I'm
just
kidding.
met you.
No,
She just
so,
met you. She's like, yeah, you're an idiot.
no, I'm kidding. I'm
I give
kidding.
off those vibes.
And it's fair to, you can throw it back at me. It's fine. I can take it. But
Not yet.
no,
We still got an hour to go.
he's leaving. He's like, I'm out of here. Whatever. No, I think that would be an awesome idea. I wish more people would be into that because I would truly love to see what the statistics and data are based on that. Because that's always been something that I always wondered as well. I was like, why hasn't anybody even tried to like do this publicly, or at least collect the data and the research? Because I feel like we'll get a lot of answers, hopefully. I mean, that would be really cool. I have seen some studies on like where they were like weighing bodies like as
Yeah.
they die and before they died after that. They said it gets, a couple ounces like lighter, I guess, after you die is what not all the time, I guess, but it's like random. So I don't know what that's all about, but I find that interesting.
I think
I
they
think
made
it
a
would,
movie about that, like 28 grams or something like that.
yeah.
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 I mean, I think it would be an amazing thing for, especially like all of us ghost hunters, like all of us
I
into
mean, just
paranormal.
imagine like
Cool.
if OWPS was all in the room, you get all your equipment out, and I were to die, and I'm a spirit, like there could be immediate interaction. Like I
Yeah.
would be curious, would there be that, conscious interaction? I mean, God, that would just be it's kind of mind blowing to think about, but
Yeah.
I mean,
it'd be pretty wild.
Sean, if you're willing to do this for science,
For science. Definitely. 100%.
well, okay. What episode was it where we were talking about, and I brought it up, and you said that I'm just a morbid individual, but like the people on death row,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
let's we want to see what the other side's like and do comparisons, like literally flatline these people for whatever 10 minutes, then bring them back, do them for like scientific studies. But you just said I'm just a twisted individual, but I'm like,
Have you ever seen the movie Flatliners?
yes, I
Yes.
have.
That's
Oh my
one
God.
reason why you wouldn't want to do that,
Well,
especially to death row inmates.
it's in a it. Shut up, Sean.
Okay, you have a point there. You have a point.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder, like, would we get answers? Would we get, and then, if you think about it, what would be the difference between the regular population and death row inmates? Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I wonder if there's a psychological, there's obviously, we know, especially
Yeah.
me being a behavioral health therapist, like, we know there's differences in brains and brain activity and, different individuals. So, psychopathology, sociopathology, all of that is a whole nother ballgame. That's not even close to the average person. So it does make me wonder if there would be a lot of interesting research coming out of that. That would be really cool to do. And then the other factor, everybody doesn't get the chance to know when they might die. So then there's that factor. You know what I mean? Like, you got all these factors that totally intrigue me, because it'd be cool if you knew you were dying and you're on your deathbed and you're like, hey, call your researchers in. Hey, guys, see
Hmm.
what's going on. But then,
Yeah.
I would love to get the statistics, to base that against like people who die unexpectedly and whatnot. I mean, obviously, it would be great if we all are able to know when we're going to die and die peacefully, but that doesn't always happen. So it does make me wonder.
Yeah. And have like keywords, like,
Yeah,
that you would say. Yeah. I mean, there's just a whole line of experimentation you could do.
I will
I
tell
don't
you
know.
something funny.
Is that
Well,
morbid to think? Is that morbid to think about actually doing that?
I don't think so, but I mean, what do you guys think? Here we all deal with death, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's not. I feel like it's
Yeah.
more of like helping science and the human race, like figure out, is there anything after death? Is there not? Is it totally crazy? We can't even. There's.
The first words to come through in an EVP would be, Nick, it's hot in here.
I'd be like, where am I at?
well, I mean, you talk to most people about their near death experience, and a lot of them talk about a light or a tunnel or seeing loved ones. But if you think about the psychological aspect, like you brought up, these are sociopaths, these are serial killers, their brain waves or their thought process does not wire the same as the rest of us do. Would it be different? Would they still see the same thing?
Ian
That,
M. Paranormal said, can we
yeah.
prop your dead body up to conduct a human pendulum session with me? Sure. Oh, dead. What do I care? Do it.
But it is interesting because based on everyone's different beliefs, for after death, or if they even believe there is an after death, right? So I'm really curious. Like, it definitely interests me. Like, it would be really neat because, like you said, I mean, would they go to hell, or what
Right.
is there purgatory? Or, what happens? No
Hmm.
idea.
So, Sean, you're on your deathbed, you're
Yeah.
about to croak.
Yep.
We kill all the power to the room.
Hmm.
Then we set like
Except the one that's
devices.
keeping me alive.
Well, no, you're going to go anyways. We're going to
Yeah.
unplug you. I mean, this is the point we're unplugging you. So we unplug you, we kill all the
He's
power.
gonna unplug you. He's not even gonna wait for you to go. He's gonna unplug you.
I expect nothing less.
This is for science, Sean.
Yeah.
So we put equipment all around you,
Uh-huh.
and we see the moment that you does
Uh-huh.
does the shit go off.
Right.
Just saying.
And then I mean, think about it, man. If that really happened, okay, so I'm a spirit and I'm somehow able to stay there in the room and see everything. I'd be trying to pick up stuff and move stuff. I mean,
You're getting
why
very
hasn't somebody
radical.
done this already? Or maybe they have and
Good
just haven't talked
question.
about it.
Good question.
We this is a question for Brian Cano. This is up his alley,
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Cindie, are
Anyway,
you
I think it
regretting
sounds
this
cool.
already?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. I want to be part of this experiment. When I die, you guys gonna
Well,
bring all
we're getting some comments here on YouTube, but those of you that are here, we got 18 people watching us on YouTube right now. What do you think? Is this a morbid thing, or is this something that you think might be interesting and get some genuine results? What do we think?
So Cindie, let's I don't know, let's learn a little bit about you. I mean, you're a Reiki master, energy healer, author. What why in the hell would you want to be in this genre of paranormal and metaphysical? What
so,
drew you here?
oh, you're gonna get it really deep here.
Yeah, I'd lit the torch.
So,
Let's go.
so first of all, my background at my family is, I have Christian family members and I have family members who were brought up in the old ways and, not Christian. So I come from a, diverse background and I got a lot of exposure to both. And I really, really appreciate that now that I'm older. When I was younger, I was a little confused because I was like, what do I do here? You
Right.
know? But my dad was a Methodist minister. And
Oh,
when
okay.
I was a child, I actually inadvertently came in the church during an exorcism. So that prompted a complete intense interest. So I had to learn early, about different things. And then in addition to that, I had experiences when I was a child. Like I would see what they call like the white things, the white monsters, the white man, the foggy looking, weird. I
Okay.
would see those outside my childhood home in the woods, in the wood line, and it would terrify me because I didn't know what it was. Part of my family's like, no, don't look at that. That's evil. That's demons. And then I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Now,
I'm a kid.
is this in West Virginia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, I would see those things and have experiences with them, and it would terrify me. And that's terrifying when you're young. I'm talking like I was probably between 6 and 10 when I first like started seeing this stuff. And I would always ask questions because I was obviously terrified. And one side of the family, was like, oh, that's demons. Don't look at that. Don't talk to it. Don't encourage it. Run away from it. Say prayers, whatever. And then the other side of the family was like, oh, don't worry about that. Just if you don't like them, you tell them to leave you alone. I'm like, so what? Don't talk. I don't know. I'm gonna roll the dice here. And when I started not being as fearful, I tried to understand more. And basically, my fascination with paranormal came from trying to figure out what it really was, so that I wasn't always terrified. So it sounds strange, but my first experiences weren't really with ghosts. It was
Right.
literally with what they call the white things, which is very creepy in itself. If you guys have read anything up on it, it's pretty creepy.
West Virginia. I'm not gonna lie to you. West Virginia scares the shit out of me.
I was watching some of you guys' videos. I was cracking up because you were like, we're in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like my home state, probably.
I've been to West Virginia a few times, and I mean the first few times I was in West Virginia, it was you hit the accelerator and don't stop.
Yeah. A lot of people feel that way. So when are you going to come to Sweet Springs to visit? That's what I want to know.
I'm gonna have to make that a point because
Yeah.
I've heard about Sweet Springs. I've never been, so I mean it is on my list. It's like one of those things where at the end of the year you start you start on the calendar, and then it's like, okay, I got to go to these 15 conventions. Then you have these events, and then people
Oh,
call
yeah.
you in. It's like, before you know it, 3/4 of the year is already full, and it's like, oh my goodness. So yes, definitely with the natural spring aspect and this or that, that part really intrigues me. So that just like bumps it up the list for me to go there.
Good.
So But
We'll have to make it happen for you.
with all that being said, like, so, you know, Methodist, West Virginia, Appalachian, crazy monsters in the woods. You have the whole paranormal aspect.
Yes.
You walked in on an exorcism. God knows, how old were you when that happened?
I believe I was around 8. I definitely was no older than 10.
Okay. Do you remember what you like your thought process? Like, what are they doing?
Yes, I was actually I was just terrified. I was like, because I'll tell you a little bit what I saw, which was, you see the movies, right? Well, I didn't see any of those movies before I saw this. Like, obviously, I was too young. My parents would never have let me watch The Exorcist or anything else for that matter.
Right.
So, I had no idea what I was seeing, except for that I saw a very tiny, petite lady push the preacher, who was a very large, 6'4", probably 300 pounds man, over 3 pews, and she did it on her own. So that was terrifying. She was also making a really creepy, very masculine sound, and she was like shouting at him, and that was just terrifying to me. The preacher was not my dad at the time. My dad was just one of the laymen that had, was helping the preacher. And my dad turned around and he saw me and he said, "Get out of here right now. Close the door and get out of here. Go to your mother. Stay with your mother. I will talk to you. Get out of here." Because I think he was thinking, "Oh my God, obviously it's dangerous. I mean, that is
Well,
dangerous."
yeah, you yourself are in danger at that point. You know.
Yes. So
Um,
we had a nice conversation afterwards because my dad he was very cool. He was very open-minded. Like, he was one of those people. He got me into paranormal podcasts with like UFOs and stuff like that when I was younger. So he was a cool, I guess for lack of a better word, he was a cool preacher, he was cool. So I was very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to have had that. But he was very good about explaining to me, trying not to terrify me, but also letting me know it was nothing to mess with. You're not, don't
right.
mess with that sort of thing. But he tried to like make me feel better about what I saw, and tried to explain what was going on and all of that. So that, as I got older, we had more conversations about it, and it made more sense to me, obviously. But when I was a kid, I was just like, this is terrifying. I don't ever want to see that again. This is creepy. I don't know what's going on.
This 5 foot lady is crawling on the ceiling and she's a spider monkey and I don't know what the hell.
It's just terrifying. I don't even know how else to explain it. It was just terrifying. I mean, even to like when I was in college, my dad was like, "I really hate that you saw that," because it's just not something. I mean, he didn't even normally see that. That's not common. So
Well,
that's the
yeah,
other
I
thing
mean,
I try to tell people. I'm like, that's not common. It's not common, like people like, because I already had that conversation too, not with you, but before. The whole, I'm really tired of people saying demons, demons, everything's demon. I'm kind of tired of that.
we'll
Not
get to
saying not saying the beliefs aren't, but I'm just saying, me personally, I find it interesting.
well, we'll definitely dive into that at some point. We'll
Yeah.
get your full take on that. But
Yeah.
it's cool that obviously at a young age, understanding the paranormal, and it sounds like your family was very receptive to it and open minded to it. I mean, well, half of them were like, "Don't do it."
Yeah. Half of them are like,
Half were
nah.
like, "Yeah." But that's better than most families. I would say that. But
Yeah.
what is cool is at some point you understood the energy side of it, the metaphysical side of it at some point because it led you to this journey of becoming a Reiki master,
Yes.
and an energy healer. Where at what point what was your mindset and your thinking like I need to take this to the next level here?
So whenever, growing up in church, they have something called laying of hands, where, you pray for people, and everybody kind of lays their hands on somebody and prays for good, healing energy. They usually pray to God. So it's, usually like a prayer, group prayer. The whole church, a lot of times, will surround somebody, especially if it's like cancer or something, something really serious. The church will get together and pray. So I was always fascinated with the fact that it seemed like, one of the factors I remember as a kid was like the laying of hands, so everyone
Right.
like would either touch each other, everyone would touch each other or touch the person or try to, gather around this person to send them positive, prayers, positive healing, positive energy, whatever, positive thoughts. Right. So I was fascinated with that at a young age because I thought that was really just cool. It was a cool thing because sometimes, you'd hear good things come out of that. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. That prayer must have worked. And so I was like, this is fascinating, right? So that kind of led me into the Reiki master stuff. But before that, I was very fascinated with energy because I really feel more strongly about energy and things that are within locations and whatnot. I feel like it's more energy, at least to me. I feel like it's a more of an energetic thing. So that also tied in with my energy belief of prayer and positive thoughts and healing and kind things putting out to the universe. So that really resonated with me. Well, then when I moved to Hawaii, I was extremely fascinated because, there were so many people from different cultures and different beliefs. I learned a lot about Buddhism and, just all kinds of different things. It was amazing. Like it was just a melting pot. It was amazing. And that's where I found out about Reiki. And I took my training from a Japanese Reiki master, and she was absolutely phenomenal. So when she was, explaining all this to me, I thought, wow, that really kind of lines up and is very similar to like what I grew up with in church of, people laying their hands to try to send positivity, healing energy, good vibes to someone. And so being that it was just another avenue to try to help that along, I thought, wow, this is up my alley, because it also, teaches you a little bit about paying attention to energy. And you know how when someone negative walks in the room, it kind of changes the tone of the room and whatnot, at least for me. I know some
Oh
people
yeah,
don't feel
definitely.
that.
It changes the vibe in the room. Their
Yeah.
vibrations are low. Comes
Hmm.
in. It does. It does. It
Yeah.
instantly changes the room.
Yeah. And for me, I feel, at least from what my beliefs are right now, because my beliefs change as I learn more information. So, I kind of like pay attention and I think, okay, does that make sense or does it not make sense? Does it fit in? Does it not fit in? Let me just keep this in the back of my mind and think about it, right? But as I've, went on this journey with learning more about the paranormal and energy and, just different religions and beliefs, um, I really realized that the energy is the one thing is the common factor. It's just very common, very common. And it might not be the same exact thing or what people call the same exact thing, but I find it, really interesting that most religions really believe, in that energy aspect of it. And I can get on board with that. And I do think with paranormal, I think it explains a lot of things, maybe not explains it to the full depth, but it definitely makes sense to me. And then I became fascinated with, okay, when people die, do they keep the same energy that they had? Because you'll have like, there are people, let's face it, there are people that die that are absolutely crappy human beings.
Oh yeah.
And then there's people that die that are really good human beings for the most part, but we all do crappy stuff sometimes, like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does stupid things. So do I think we're all going to go to hell? No. Do I even know if there's a hell? I don't know. I have no idea. I know what I've been taught and I know there's different, views. So I find it really fascinating. But the one thing I do find fascinating is that, people in general, like we know just humans, the human race, humans, you just know people that are just, they're always in a bad mood. They're always negative and they don't have nothing nice to say about anybody. And then there's great people who are just, they always try to help people, try to be nice. They light up a room, it's, and I feel like people keep that after death, at least in my opinion. Well, I do believe,
I hope so too.
but I don't
Dude,
know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
so this is what always gets me because I'm huge into religion. I love the metaphysical side. I'm huge into a Reiki master. I've had several sessions done by different Reiki masters, and we actually had one on a couple weeks ago, Kara Montgomery. Now, it's interesting that you bring that up about your prayer circles at your church,
Hmm.
praying for somebody and putting your hands out.
Hmm.
So what you're doing is, in the religious aspect, is you're all coming together to pray to force your positive energy, or depending on the denomination, letting the Holy Spirit come through you to
Yes.
heal this person.
Hmm.
Now, if you ask most religious uh, congregations, if you talk to them about Reiki or Reiki, however you want to say it, or anything in that aspect, they want to wash it aside as something pagan,
Yes.
something witchcraft.
Yes.
But if you really dive into it and you think about it, it is the same thing because
Yes.
what a Reiki master does is, and it doesn't matter what religion they believe in. What they're doing is they're pulling from a higher source
Yes,
through you to
absolutely.
heal your body.
Yes. So I never take, when someone feels healed after something with me, I do not take credit for that. I say it is not me. I am just a vessel. I am just here. I am not, it's not me. And there are people that do try to use their own energy, and that's fine. But I was always cautioned against that because you can deplete, you can deplete yourself.
Yep.
You need
Yep.
to take it from a source. And that's, and I, wherever that source is, like you said, God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever you believe in, the universe, whatever, that's where it is coming from, according to, most Reiki masters. It depends on who, what their beliefs are. But yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
It always cracks me up that, especially Christianity, because the premise behind Christianity obviously is to be and walk like Christ. But the religion itself is a hodgepodge of religion of other religions
Yes.
put into one.
Right. Yes.
And I don't understand why a lot of people just don't get that. And they're like, no, this is the way. This is this is that. And I'm like, do understand it? Like, if you just literally took 1 year out of your life and study 10 other denominations of religion, and you will be baffled by all the stories that are told in their religions are the same, just kind of twisted,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Very
Um,
much so.
I was actually I grew up Catholic. A lot of my family members switched to Buddhism,
Mm-hmm.
and I love Buddhism. I love everything that it stands for
Me too.
So
because
much so that you kind of look like Buddha.
I do kind of, I do.
I think that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
You
Take it
are
how you
lucky,
want. I mean,
Sean. You are lucky that I'm not sitting here with no shirt on.
thank goodness for that.
But the energy aspect, I 1,000% agree with you. You know, we are energy now. When we leave this vessel, we are still energy. We're trying to understand that form of energy, and that's what the whole paranormal investigating is about. You know, so
Yes.
um,
A couple things here off of YouTube. Is
yeah, go ahead.
a lot of chat going on here. Um, let's see. We'll go back here. Spooky Appalachia said, "I think when Cindie passes, she's going to haunt Sweet Springs for sure."
Jimmy, you're right, Jimmy.
L&M Paranormal asked what my final words would be if we actually did that experiment. And I said they would be, "Ha ha, Nick, I'm going to find out the truth before you hobbit." Liz would be first to pull my plug. Let's see. Let's see. Spooky Appalachia says, "Why is everyone always scared of West Virginia?"
And he's
Yvette,
from Virginia.
Have you ever?
Yvette Udy, I believe it says, "Spirits of Sweet Springs didn't let us sleep." What else we got here? Tyler Darnell says, "Much love from Tyler in Chesapeake."
Tyler. Do a
Doo-doo-doo.
shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Thank you guys.
I know, right? Let's see.
Have you ever seen the movie Hills Have Eyes?
Yes.
Gosh, where are you going with this?
That's when I like enter West Virginia. That is like the first thing that enters my mind.
We get a bad rap. I will tell you this too. That movie Wrong Turn? That everybody,
Yeah,
like almost
yeah,
everybody's seen the
yeah.
Wrong Turn. Everybody thinks that was West Virginia. It was Georgia. I'm like, dudes, you guys gotta stop busting on us. We're not that bad, I promise.
Phil Gibson has a comment here about what we were just talking about. He said it's their ego.
Yeah,
Mainstream religions all believe their way is the right way, which is pretty true.
yeah.
Bill Walters said when he sees Nick again, he's going to rub his belly for luck. I would not do that. L&M Paranormal said, "I love the shocker of yes, I am a Christian, and yes, I am a medium or a Reiki master." And they also had a question here for you. Oh, here we go. L&M Paranormal wants to know, what is your go-to vibration energizer? How do you bring up the vibes?
Ooh, that's a good
So
question.
I meditate. I like to meditate. And I don't know if it I don't think I've ever investigated with you guys or guys been anywhere with you guys. So a lot of people a lot of people that know me pretty well, they know that I like to spend a lot of time alone. And that sounds, antisocial or whatever. But I feel like it helps me, stay in my own like energy, because I am really affected by energy and I know it. So especially people that have that negative aspect side, or like the ego gets in the way. And so I protect myself. And when I say protect myself, I mean like my energy and whatnot. I like to spend time alone and listen to really like peaceful, calm music. Sometimes I listen to heavy metal. I'm not gonna lie, but it puts me in a different mind frame, especially if it doesn't really make me angry. It makes it kind of like alleviates a little bit of stress, which sounds strange, but yeah. And then I also exercise a lot. So, I like to work out. I know a lot of people don't find that fun, but I do because I feel like it keeps me balanced. And but the biggest thing for me is meditating before I go into a place or before I do any kind of spiritual work with someone, because I really feel like I have to have my mind set in the right place and make sure that, I have that peaceful feeling and feel rejuvenated. And I have canceled, some Reiki master sessions that I've had with people or like teaching a class before if I don't feel like my vibes are up. I'll reschedule because I don't want to affect anyone else's energy with my own. But yeah, my go-to is alone time. I really like to have a balance, or at least quiet time.
I think we just answered every question we had about Phil Gibson because he said he was born in Ripley, West Virginia. So
Yay, go West Virginia. Yay, Phil.
Yeah, I knew that about Phil. So, and investigating wise, you're going in to investigate. Um, Mindset going in. Do you shield yourself? Do you use any metaphysical items to enhance your experience or for protection or anything?
So depending on, the vibes that I get, I will switch out different crystals and different gemstones depending on what I feel. Because some people say, oh, use this, oh, use that. I go with what I feel, resonates with me on that day. Sometimes that could be an emerald, random, it could be a
Right.
rose quartz. I mean, it could be anything. But a lot of times I go to onyx and obsidian. Those are my two favorites. However, that's not the only, I use whatever I'm feeling drawn to on that day. Now I don't use it so much for protection as I use it to remind myself, like a reminder, if I can touch it or feel it like in my pocket or on my necklace or something, it's kind of like a reminder to, stay calm, especially when I'm feeling like, oh, what just happened? Oh,
Right,
I'm like,
gotcha.
okay, stay calm, stay calm. Or if I feel something negative, it's kind of like I use it kind of as a reminder to ground myself, like, okay, take a deep breath, stay calm. You're not going to help anything or learn anything if you go running away. So I'm like, okay, stay calm. And sometimes, I mean, I did have, I believe Steve Dills was with me one time, Transcend Paranormal. He's like one of my best friends. He was with me one day, and I was standing in the hallway going, okay, I got this. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, it was just like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't think your necklace is going to help us. I was like, no, it's just going to help me stay calm. And he was like, I love
Well,
him.
I mean, if it helps to center you, to calm you, to stay
Yeah,
in the moment, I mean, absolutely. I don't feel that, and I've talked about this a lot. Like I wear a Super 7 crystal, you know,
yeah,
uh, but
yeah,
that is more on an energetic basis. Like, some people believe like, well, I have amethyst and onyx in my pocket, like no spirit's gonna hurt me or attach to me. A
right,
bullshit. A
right.
bullshit.
Yes. I'll
That's not how it
100%.
works.
Yes, 100% agree with you. 100%.
how about music, Cindy? Does music play a part in anything for you?
Yes. So at least, are you talking like paranormal wise, like with investigations, or are you talking like for me to be centered and try to keep myself focused?
Both, actually,
Oh,
because
both.
this is something we've discussed on the last several episodes, how music plays into all of that. So, all of that for you, actually.
Yes. So music is a huge part of my life. I absolutely love music, all kinds of music. I mean, I don't have a favorite genre. I don't have a genre that I hate or anything like that. I really like a little bit of everything. I even have my Guns N' Roses t-shirt on.
I was just going
Oh,
to say
there you
something
go.
about that.
I'm definitely 80s, like 80s, 90s, definitely into that. But that's just because it's the good old days. But for the most part, I love music. When I'm trying to stay focused and when I try to listen to things that are more calming, just a lot of instrumental type music, especially like the Native American. I love Native American music. It's beautiful. So I do listen to that a lot when I'm trying to, stay centered and be calm and meditate. But yeah, I love music in general. I mean, nobody ever sees me anywhere without music. I'm always blasting music of some sort. Um, and like I said, heavy metal doesn't make me angry. A lot of people, it makes them angry, and heavy metal actually sometimes calms me down because I'm just like, okay, they're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, most people they listen to heavy metal, they want to drive fast and punch people, but
Yeah.
some people it does calm them down. Now, I have a feeling here that the reason why you start seeing a lot of apparition and white things in the woods was from all the Aquanet. You probably had the big hair,
Oh,
the
my hair
band
was so
days.
huge. And let me just tell you, you are good at guessing because let me tell you, back in the day, I wouldn't fit into this screen.
You got it feathered all the way out.
Oh, woo! I like way out. Matter of fact, I'll find a picture and I'll post it just for
All
you
right,
guys to get
all
laugh
right.
your asses off. Because I mean, let me tell you, it was like you could barely fit me into, the screen. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Very large hair, lots of Aquanet, lots of just, oh yeah. I don't know what I was thinking, but it
What
was a
what
good
was
time.
what was your favorite? Was it Guns N' Roses? Your favorite '80s band?
That one's hard because Guns N'
And they
Roses was
did trickle
definitely,
into the '90s a little bit, but
yeah, Guns N' Roses was definitely at the top. But I had a mixture. Like I really love Metallica too, and I love like Def Leppard, Poison. I mean, you name it. Aerosmith, Journey. I mean, you just I could go down the list. So yeah, I really could not name a favorite, but if I had to pick, probably the one that owned the most would be Guns N' Roses, probably. Yeah, as far as like the whole sets of everything. Now I'm talking old school, like you know, cassette tapes.
Apparently, a lot of people watching our
what is
YouTube like the heavy
what is a
metal too.
cassette tape?
Hey, hey, don't mess with Gen X over here. Us
Dude,
old people.
the first cassette tape I bought on my own, I actually won a prize from winning a spelling bee, and I went out and bought Skid Row on cassette tape.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Still one of my favorite albums. But yeah, Phil Gibson says Pantera, lots of Metallica, AC/DC. So
Oh, I
yeah,
loved AC/DC too. Yeah.
apparently, and then Haunting Angels said we're paranormal Swifties.
I like Swifties. Yeah, I'm
That's
good. Yeah.
hey, whatever works. What's a
Yep.
cassette tape?
You,
Google it.
Use Your Illusions 1 and 2
Oh,
was
yes.
my I love those two albums. I think that was like my first or second, like where I actually went out and bought it myself.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the Gen X thing, I hit the cutoff like 19.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's questionable, but
You just bought the new Taylor Swift on CD. You know you did.
I don't think so. No, I mean we use music a lot on investigations to raise the vibrations,
Yeah.
and at first, you were like, well, we got to play period. Then I
Yeah.
thought about it. I'm like, well, what fucking period? We don't
Right.
know what spirits are here. So we would just play any music. We would start dancing, and we
Right.
would get phenomenal results.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things to do too. Like, especially, in West Virginia at Sweet Springs, I was like going through my playlist and I was like, do you like this? And, like I was doing a flashlight session and then some spirit box at the same time. And, at first I was like, I wasn't getting much. Then I played Country Roads. Oh my gosh, the flashlight was going ting, 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 ting. And I have it on, it was a live stream that I was doing.
Okay.
And so it's on, I think I have it on YouTube and on TikTok and on Facebook. But it was cool because it was like it was flash. I mean, it was like they were happy about this country roads. I was like, okay, we're you can tell we're in West Virginia. But when you said that, it reminded me when I first went to Sweet Springs, I was really surprised. I was doing a live stream on YouTube and I had it was like old school connected with wires and whatnot. And I was doing a live stream and one of the cameras caught waltz music. And I was like, because I was only with one other person, my friend Jason, and my friend Jason was like, we were together the whole time, so where did that music come from? And I was like, I don't know. And everyone was in like the YouTube chat when we got back because we couldn't see it at the time. We got back and they're all like, oh my God, you got to go listen to this. You got to listen. So we went back and listened to it, and I was like, holy crap, that is cool. And then I looked it up, and it was the Tennessee Waltz, which is that's really cool
Right.
considering the camera that caught it was where our old ballroom used to be sitting, and it was torn down. And part of the new, the building that's the newer part was put on top of it. So I found that I was just fascinated by that. I was like, this is cool. You know, we
Well,
didn't play it, but it was
you,
there,
you think about it, I mean, obviously that's a residual energy,
right?
but you happen to catch the needle in the haystack of residual energy because you just happen to have your cameras, your live stream there at the time that
Right.
this part of the building was releasing this energy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people frown upon like, oh, it's just residual. No, it's still really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
you it's like I said, needle in the haystack. You were there at the right time. You had the camera there. You had this here. When the environment released that residual, it's amazing. To me, it's just as good as catching an intelligent EVP.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Because I mean, I was fascinated. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is cool. It's really cool. People were like, oh yeah. Some people were like, oh yeah. And I'm like, no, whatever. Like, this was amazing.
Yeah, fuck off. It was cool.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, you're just jealous.
So let's. I mean, shit. We're 44 minutes into this, and we haven't even talked about Sweet Springs yet. So let's. I mean,
In the meantime, the YouTube chat is broken out into a line by line verses of "Take Me Home, Country Road." So
is that the West Virginia song?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much now, yeah. I mean everyone it's pretty much known as our theme song. We played at all the games, all the basketball games, everything. Of course, I'm WVU grad twice, masters and bachelors. So all of our alumni, everybody, that's the go-to. You play country roads and everybody it's so funny because no matter where you're at, even if nobody are West Virginia fans, they're not from West Virginia, everyone stands up and sings that song. I don't know what it is, but I've made the most friends singing that song than anything else I think ever. It's like the easiest common denominator.
It's like singing "Sweet Caroline" in a Boston
Yeah.
Red Sox
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. It's awesome. Like it's just amazing. It's almost like, people that don't even like each other will just be nice to each other just for that song.
I've been to West Virginia a few times. I've been to West Virginia Penitentiary. Um, but what fascinated me is, especially along the Ohio River, there's a lot of small towns that are depleted. There's a lot of old buildings there, and just driving up and down and looking at these, I'm like, there's a cash cow of buildings just sitting there, like just ready to be investigated, ready to be brought to light, to live again, the building itself to be, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, how is the state of West Virginia trying to help revitalize like some of these little towns? I mean, I'll be honest with you, when you talk the rest of America and you talk about West Virginia, they're like, oh my God, well, that's just a poor ass state, you know.
Right.
And
Yes. We are a poor state. Yes, definitely. We have a really high poverty level. Yes.
what should we do? Because yes, I cracked that I'm scared to death of West Virginia. That's partly true. But I also fell in love with the state because it is absolutely freaking beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you were the advocate of the state of West Virginia to the rest of the country to bring investors back to the state, what would you do?
A
That
big
is a
billboard
really,
that says "We haunted."
I'm like, oh man, okay. So, for me, do you mean like to try to get people to buy up these buildings and allow people
Yeah,
to come in? Or do you mean just in general to help like
just in
bring
general. I don't know.
so I have struggled with this at Sweet Springs because, as you know, I think you might, or you maybe you don't know, but you probably do. We have very limited Wi-Fi. There's no cell service at Sweet Springs. It is literally in the middle of nowhere. It's very rural. The county that we're in is very rural and it's very small, like as in population wise. So it's very difficult to attract people because everyone's into the internet, everyone's into
Mhm.
Wi-Fi, everyone is wanting to be connected 24/7. So I feel like part of what is so awesome about West Virginia is yes, we do have our areas where it's very, up to date, modern, and we have all this high speed stuff. But then there's most of West Virginia who is very like, we're laid back. We like nature. We like hiking. We just like peaceful, calm stuff like picnics, hiking, camping, whatever. So I mean, I think the natural resources of our state attracts people, but people are scared of West Virginia. They really are. I mean, there's a lot of people are just afraid to come here. And, it's because we are a very superstitious, kind of like, um, we don't, we're very friendly and we're nice to people, but, people
Are you
don't really
sure?
know how to approach us, and we're also cautious. Yeah, we're cautious. And
That's what serial killers say,
it's
isn't it?
because like,
Yeah, that's
it's
what I was
because of,
getting at. Are you sure,
yeah,
Cindy?
We're all
yeah,
nice down
but
here.
it's because a lot of times our outsiders that have came in have, really depleted our resources. Like the coal companies, big coal companies and stuff, they have really done a lot of damage to our state and the people. So, we're very leery about outsiders coming in, but at the same time, we like people, we're very hospitable. Like if you come here, there's not there, I don't know too many West Virginia families who wouldn't invite you in, give you whatever we're eating for dinner, feed you before we feed ourselves, very funny. And probably let you shoot our guns and stuff and drink some beers. I mean, moonshine, I don't know, whatever, if that's your thing. But for the most part, when people come here, they love it. I mean, especially if they come like for WVU, a lot of people that come to WVU are not from West Virginia. They're actually from New York, Pennsylvania, all the surrounding states like Virginia, Maryland, because it's cheaper for them to come here than it is to go in their own state, which is,
Right.
sad in a way, but also cool for us because we meet a lot of cool people. And, WVU is a big school with a lot of different international programs. So, I'm from Morgantown, which is where the WVU is. So, I'm used to like having, different cultures, different people, different places, all kinds of things from everywhere coming in. So I think it does depend on, where you are in West Virginia also. So if you are in the southern part of the state, they're a little bit more, laid back and they kind of keep an eye on you for a little bit before they realize, whether you're good or bad. But they are the most hospitable people you ever want to meet. Like if you come to Sweet Springs, I mean, most people are like, oh my gosh, everybody is so nice. Like they'll talk to you, they'll tell you, they'll even drive you down the road. I mean, you just don't hear of that. They're like, oh heck, get in the back. I'll take you down the road. You need to go to there. Oh yeah, I can drop you off. And you're like, huh?
Uh,
Like
And Bill Walter said as the banjo music starts playing.
everyone's like, oh my God, I hear banjos, row faster, row faster. Like we joke around about it. But I mean, yeah, I mean, people, it all depends on like, what kind of energy you put out there to people. If you come in and you're friendly, you'll fit in. Like it really doesn't matter. And I say that, I'm a native West Virginian, but I mean, for the most part, it was really funny when I moved to Hawaii. They're very similar to West Virginians. Like they're very family oriented, very nice, hospitable, welcoming. As long as you show that you're not coming with malice, there's no problem. But I do think as far as the economy, that's a hard one because we don't have a lot of things to attract people other than our natural resources.
right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's just my mindset is different when I travel places. I think of that stuff. I'm like, there's places in Kentucky that we've gone to, and I'm like, man, what can we do here? And that's just how my weird mind thinks sometimes, I guess. But anyway, Sweet Springs. Tell us about a little bit of history of Sweet Springs. What makes it special?
So of course, other than it's like totally in my heart and soul, Sweet Springs is over 250 years of history. So that's a lot of time periods and a lot of different things that it has served
Mhm.
as over the years. So I feel like when you come to Sweet Springs, it's like a plethora of paranormal, because you can get like all these different time periods. And sometimes it doesn't make any sense because you're like, wait, that was from one time period, but this is something else. I don't know what's going on here. So it's kind of like an onion. You're peeling back
Yeah.
layers. You're just like, okay, which layer is this? So Sweet Springs is just, I mean, it's amazing to me because it is out in the country still. It's very rural, very limited Wi-Fi, no cell service. And so there's very minimal amount of contamination, which I really find, to me, it's like it's the best, because I'm like,
Right.
sometimes I'll go places and you know how it's in the middle of a town or city or something, or, have people next door. To me, I have to rule out a lot of stuff when I get evidence from those places because it very well could have been somebody walking by talking,
Oh
or
yeah,
whatnot.
absolutely.
Where at Sweet Springs, like we don't have that. I mean, you're out in the country. The worst thing you hear is coyotes and cows, like you might hear those. And that's pretty much it. We
Or
do have
or,
a
or
road that's like,
gunshots.
what's that?
Or gunshots.
Yeah, you can hear that too.
Okay. Okay.
Banjos,
But I mean, it's not very often.
chainsaws.
It's not very often. But yeah, I mean, Sweet Springs is just, it's near and dear to my heart because, it is such an amazing place, but it's sat vacant for so long and it shocks me sometimes at how much our state, let the buildings just sit empty for so many years when it's such an amazing piece of history. It is. It's one of the oldest, most fascinating places in the country. And, the United States, we're not that old compared to like England and, all these
Right.
other countries. So it's one of the oldest buildings still standing that's in relatively pretty good shape. It needs a lot of work, but it's in good shape considering. And I am surprised that our state, doesn't put more money into historic preservation, and that really stinks. But I will tell you, like, I love and I appreciate our paranormal investigators and paranormal friends, people who visit, because it really helps us to try to keep this property up and running, and keep it going. Because without it, I can tell you right now, we probably would not have been able to save this building. So, the paranormal investigators and, historians and people that love history and love spooky stuff. I mean, it has been amazing, the amount of people that have supported us and comes out to help us out because, it does, it keeps us going. And that means a lot because we're saving a huge place, a huge piece of history.
Now, does the state of West Virginia still own it, or
Yep. No, Ashby Berkeley bought it in 2015.
okay?
And so he is the one who owns it and runs it. But he's very much a historic preservationist.
Okay.
And he's preserved a couple other locations in the state. And he's a good person and he really this place is pretty near and dear to his heart as well because his mom used to work there as a nurse when he was a little kid
Oh wow. Okay.
and some of his relatives were in the nursing home when it was a nursing home. So he remembers visiting when he was a child, and he's in his 80s. So he's a cool guy. And it's nice hearing his stories because sometimes I get stories from him as well. So
Right.
yeah, it's amazing.
So did he purchase the property just to try to preserve it? Did he understand the paranormal aspect of it?
No. So he purchased it just to preserve it.
Okay.
I approached him because I became fascinated with the place when I moved back from Hawaii in 2004. I was
Okay.
driving by with one of my friends and I was like, whoa, stop the car. Stop it right now. I got to see this place. What is this place? And he was like, oh, you can't go in there. He's like, the bank owns it because, the guy that was going to do it died and his family doesn't know what to do with it and all this stuff. So I was like, oh man, I need to find somebody to ask to, if I can get in here because I love this place is gorgeous. I love it. And I was just fascinated with it. Well, back then, that's 2004, not a lot was online at all about this place. I mean, I'm the first one that really kind of put most of the stuff out there because it just was not, nobody knew about it really. So
Right.
I became absolutely obsessed with it and started doing all the research. And, I would go to the West Virginia Rare Books collection and do the old school research from the books, and because there's not a lot online from the old school stuff. And I finally got a hold of somebody who could get me in, and I was able to get in there with permission. And then it went up for auction, and Ashby bought it. And then I contacted Ashby, and I, introduced myself, and I asked if I could meet with him, and he agreed. And me and my friend Steve, who does a lot of the West Virginia Filmmakers Guild, to try to preserve different historical places as well, we went and met with Ashby. And I asked him, I said, can I do a paranormal investigation here and see if I can get anything? Have you ever had any experiences? He said, oh, no, I haven't really tried to do that or anything. It's like, but whatever, if you want to go do it, go ahead. There's probably
There
snakes
ain't no
here.
ghost here.
Yeah, he was just like, go ahead. If you really want to come in there, you just go right ahead. I was like, okay. So I stayed there for a week or 2 weeks, I believe, at the first time. And I just documented everything, and it was amazing. Like, I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. And so I showed him everything that I got, and he was just like, well, heck, you should come back. I said, all right. And so, then I asked him if I could bring some friends and, just kind of see what they
Right.
got,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. So then it started after that. And I just said, hey, can I help you preserve this place? Like, can I help you? How can I help? How can I help this? And he was like, well, I don't know, and then we sat down and talked about it. And that's how this came about.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
And that,
wish.
folks, is how a location that nobody knows about can instantly become an income maker for your town or city.
Yes.
right.
Just
Yes.
like that.
Imagine that. And then next thing you know, there's a gas station built because you need gas. And then all of a sudden
And a Taco Bell.
yes, the Taco Bell has to be next. Or a Dollar General. And then
We
what
got
happens?
Dollar General. We got a Dollar General.
And then maybe a small hotel, and then you get like a drugstore, like a Walgreens or CVS. See, this is how it happens, people. So
Yep.
Yeah.
get your head out of your asses. Let people like Cindie come in and help your small town economy thrive, because there are millions of us nut jobs out here that love ghosty stuff. We love old buildings, and we love shelling out money to help preserve and keep these places open.
Absolutely. And we appreciate everyone. We really do.
I like yourself, I applaud you for what you're doing and what you did. You
Thank
know,
you.
I look forward to coming to Sweet Springs. I truly do. And
Even
I
though it's in
just,
West Virginia,
yeah, I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
Don't
I'll
make
make
me
sure,
drive.
I show
Once
you
they cross
around.
the border,
I'll be there to
See,
make sure you guys are okay.
this is how it works, Cindie, is I am short and low to the ground, so I can scoot pretty fast. Sean is tall and clumsy, so he will fall first, and that gives me more time to get away.
Nick
So
said he doesn't have to run fast. He just has to run faster than me.
Yep.
So now I know the plan. Now I know the plan.
So I mean, I gotta ask, and unfortunately, it's a sanitarium, it's history. You have people with mental illnesses in there or regular illnesses, diseases, this or that. How often do you have the knuckleheads, the YouTubers, the TikTokers coming in and, screaming the D word and putting the thumbnail? I fought 10 demons at Sweet Springs,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So luckily, we don't have a lot of those because a lot of people, have the word out that I don't take kindly to that. I don't appreciate it. And neither does Ashby, neither does anyone else who comes there. I mean, I do not believe there's anything there that is intentionally going to really try to hurt someone, and definitely certainly not demons, in my opinion.
Right.
Now, can people bring them in? Hey, that's another story. But is it likely? In my opinion, not really, right? Unless they're just being dramatic and whatever. So luckily, we've been pretty lucky. Until recently, we had a few of those come in, and I don't think they realized they signed, a contract with me stating that they would not put that kind of stuff out there because it's really ridiculous and it's not true. And I asked them, if you really do get something that you feel is real, true evidence, please show it to me first. Because if it's, real, legit, okay, that's you're putting out real stuff. But if you're putting out a bunch of crap, I'm not gonna, no, we're not gonna have that.
Right.
Well, they put some stuff out there that was not cleared and is also absolutely 100% not true. So they're probably going to get a little call um, from some legal teams, but that's beside the point. In general, we've been very blessed to get good people coming in for the most part. There's a handful, and when I say handful, I've been doing this stuff, with the paranormal public and everything since 2018 there, as far as open to the public. And I can think of maybe about 5 teams who have did the clickbait stuff that is absolutely ridiculous. And that's pretty good. I consider that a win. When you look at the amount of years, that's about averaging what, maybe one a year, a little less than one a
Yeah.
year. So I feel like that's good. But I think it's because, when I put this out there, I tell people, please do not do that. We're not here for that. We're not here to like, feed negative energy, feed, this crazy, ridiculous idea of, paranormal demons and whatever else. I mean, I also find it interesting that,
Excuse
like
me.
I said, about 5 teams have actually got things like that when hundreds of them have been to our location, you know?
Mhm.
So to me, that tells me something. I feel like, there's something wrong if you're coming to our location and getting demons, and you're getting possessed. I find that suspicious.
Now,
And I'm just being polite right now.
would we possibly know these people?
Um, you probably would. I can give you a hint. You can go on YouTube and it'll pop right up for you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think they realize they're going to get a little phone call. So again, not my problem. They signed a contract. So because we do
Right.
have we do have an agreement with people that that's not what we're here for. We're not here for clickbait. We're not here to, get people to, oh my gosh, and come here and try to look for demons and so it's not what we're for.
Now, you run a location that has so much history. Okay. Now, I understand about running a location and all that stuff, and I truly understand the location's owners point of view versus just your prototypical paranormal investigator coming in and doing investigations. So there is a trend
Hmm.
going where these location owners are stepping up,
Yes.
and they are, requiring a contract,
Hmm.
requiring that if you are a YouTuber, a TikToker, a blogger, or something, and your intentions are coming here to release something, a video, a documentary, whatever it is on your location, that you get to proofread it or watch it first to approve it.
Hmm.
A lot of bigger locations, are trending that way. Some locations are even limiting people to like 1 or 2 hours of streaming.
Hmm.
You know, there's a catch 22 to this because I 100% agree with the location owners of doing this, protecting what is theirs and the reputation they have. But it also kind of strays away some business,
Hmm.
you
Yes.
know.
Hmm.
So what do you personally do to I mean, I guess you said, you've only had about 5, but I mean, just even if it's a very well popular team
Hmm.
or group of individuals that came and streamed and released something,
Hmm.
um the implications are huge. The
Yep.
ramifications, I should say, are
Hmm.
huge because of that following. Yes, it's one group, but you're
Right.
talking about hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be watching this.
Yes. Yes. So the cool things, this is what I really like about this location, especially with me being involved from the beginning. That like no one else has been in charge of this but me since we started it. So I feel very like I feel good about that. because I've had a lot of say in it and try to, control different things in the sense of not infringing on people's beliefs or rights, but, letting them know that, hey, we do have some rules if you come to our location, because let's face it, we can tell you to leave and we don't need to have, we don't need to let you come. I mean, we don't care either way. We want everyone to have a good time, but we also don't want to put misinformation or bad information out there because that's not fair either. And so we feel it's important to put out real information. So I will even correct people when they have the history wrong. And a lot of people do get the history wrong because they copy and paste it from somebody off the internet that it's never even came to our location. Doesn't even know what West Virginia is, let alone a state. Because a lot of people are like, oh, we're in Virginia. I'm like, no, this is West Virginia. We are a state. So, it's interesting. But I really like that I've been involved, with the paranormal from the beginning. And I'm the one that started it there because I feel like I have some say in who I allow to come, which may sound bad and may sound good, depending on who you are and, what your intentions are. But I will say I've had more support from the paranormal community than deterrence. Most people want to come to our location because they know I do not like this BS crap. I do not like it, and I will call you out. I really don't care. I'm not here to win your popularity contest, so that you can like me on your YouTube. I don't care. I feel more important, to put the real truth out there, put real evidence, real things that happen. And, we even have some people don't want to come to our location because it's not scary demons. I've literally gotten told that. And I'm like, hey, that's good. This is not for you then.
Right,
This place is
right.
not for you if you don't want to come here for scary demons, But the thing that I do like is that we've had more support from the paranormal community than not. And I will tell you this, before any popular team ever came to our location, we were already booked every weekend. So that tells you something. You know what I mean? It's word of mouth. Like I have very good friends. Adam Kimmel, he's one of my good friends. I like the way he runs things. I look up to him in the sense of, what he's done with all of his locations. I really appreciate him and his crew. They're wonderful. They've treated me great. And we try to talk to each other, communicate and make sure, and he's not the only one. There's a lot of locations.
Right.
We talk to each other and we communicate because we don't like this nonsense. We just don't. That's not what any of us are in it for. So, to me, I feel like even if people don't come, then that's fine. It's probably not right for them. So I kind of take it like I get a better sense of people liking the fact that we don't allow it. There's a lot more people that really appreciate the fact that, we set our foot down and we're like, no, we're just not going to have that. So, I mean, so far it's worked well. We've had one or two teams that were really mad at us because we said no, and they're very popular. But I mean, like I'm not even joking. It sounds awful, but it's the truth. Like I had one team say, "Oh, well, we have a huge following," and I said, "Well, I appreciate that. I'm really happy for you about that. That's great. But I'm sorry, we have rules, and that's it. And we're already booked every weekend from here to the end of the year, and I haven't started booking for 2025 yet. So I'm like, I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter to me if you don't come here. I mean, the people that like the real stuff are coming, and that's all that matters to us. We would
Right.
love to have you come if you want to be real. And they didn't like that, and they were like, oh well, we want to put whatever we want out. Okay, good luck to
Well,
you.
I guess you ain't coming here then.
Right.
You know. No,
And I mean,
I
we want people to come have a good time. We definitely do. We want people to have a fun time and enjoy their visit. But we definitely don't want that, I'm possessed and whatever else. We just don't want that.
I mean, there's so many factors that can happen, you know, to people when they go paranormal investigating, and when people go and and they say, well, I was affected, I was partially possessed or something. Most likely, even if it did happen, let's say it did happen to Sweet Springs, it's probably something to do with you personally that's going on with your life in general before you fucking got there. It has nothing to do with Sweet Springs. It's just the problem is there's no common sense in the
Right.
paranormal.
Yes.
Now,
Unfortunately, you're right.
um, do you think, because obviously, things have shifted the last 3 or 4 years. The television series are dying, and everything is going to streaming and YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that. That is the shift right now. And which is it's good and bad.
Yeah.
The problem is this younger generation coming out and doing, the whole demon craze and this or that, which is pissing off all the location owners like yourself, which is very fucking valid. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we ride the wave and hope this trend stops, or does the other half of the paranormal community that can't stand this stuff, do we do something to stop it?
I would like to think that we could if everyone could get along. But as you know, that seems to be a problem as well.
What do you we don't even get along on this fucking podcast. No.
Shame on you guys.
We really don't.
It's all our fault.
But you know what I'm saying, because you know exactly. I mean, it's like I don't know if you guys feel this way, but sometimes I get so frustrated that I don't even want to hear about it, because it's like somebody will say, "Oh, you support them." What? Like, I don't have a problem with them. So no, I'm not going to be, team up on somebody and be like, "Oh, let's not talk to that person." Listen, I don't want your BS. Just be quiet, move on with your day. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
like this person, they treat me good, and that's all about, somebody treats me decent, I treat them decent. Uh, if they got to be,
I mean,
that's their problem.
your beef and your personal relationship has nothing to do with your relationship with either one of them.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And I mean, it's awful because, how it is. It's every day I get on social media and I'm like, really? Because, it's always somebody complaining about somebody else. And it just gets old.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Bree and I both have strayed away from social media a lot lately.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I'm the same way.
It was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just made a post. I'm like, dear paranormal field, shut the fuck up. Like, just like love each other. And like people started replying like, you're a good dude, it'll be okay. And this, I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. This is like a general just statement, like, stop. This is not what it's about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
That's
like
kind of like me when I put out that TikTok about stop coming to locations and talking about demons. Stop it. Stop it. And everyone's like, oh my God, who did it? And I'm like, this is general. There's not one person I could name right now off the top of my head that I was directing at. It's just in general. Stop it. Just stop. We're tired of it. Stop it. But then I had some people that were like, oh, so and so, and then so and so. And I'm like, no, I don't care. I don't care.
yeah, I mean, you have a general love for the field. You have a
Yes.
passion for historical buildings. I mean, you're help managing one. You're running the whole paranormal side of it. You just care. You love it, and when something that you care and you're passionate about and you love, and you're just seeing that it's just going to hell in a
Yes.
handbasket,
Yes.
yeah, you're gonna speak up. Like, stop. Like, shut up. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like, you
absolutely.
know,
And
when
it's a shame because it ruins it for the people that actually love it. And, like, I love meeting people within the field, even if they don't agree with me on their views. I don't care because I don't have to agree with you to be your friend. You know what I mean? Like, if you respectfully tell me your opinion and I respectfully tell you mine and we still get along, hey, that's the best. You know what I mean? Because I can learn a lot from other people who have different views. I like that. But there are
right,
some people that they immediately are like, no, that's wrong. They like freak out and they try to make everyone believe their beliefs. And I'm like, no, you're not learning.
yeah,
You're
no,
not
that's
learning
that's
anything.
that's not what it's about. I mean, it's about having a conversation, like, us getting to know you and you're understanding your beliefs and then talk about our side of it. And like, I love to understand other people's thought process,
Right.
their beliefs, their faith. And, sometimes, you know, people say things you're like, huh, I never
Yeah.
thought of it that way.
Hmm.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Because
amazing.
you're like, oh. that's a new way to think about it, like that's cool. But that's I think that whole respect thing, because everyone's kind of like, oh, you have to believe what I believe or else you're not cool. Or, you have to believe what you have to do what I say, and be friends with my friends. You can't be friends with these people over here. We don't like you if you're gonna talk to them. And it's like, okay, well then I'm just gonna stay neutral. I'm literally Switzerland.
Well, there's other things that come to light. You find out that there's these debunker groups, which I am a huge advocate for these debunker groups. Fine, somebody's got to do it. Might as well be these people.
Right.
But when these people start attacking other people personally,
Right.
that's when
Mhm.
you've crossed the line, and you got to knock it off, and stuff like that. But
Yeah. Well, it's really just, it's almost like there's no need for such an attack. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if you want to give your opinion and say, oh, this is kind of shady, it just looks fake, whatever. Okay, fine. Say whatever you want, right? But when people go on these attacks for other people, that I'm not on board with that, just because it's just, why are you concentrating on that so much? Like,
yeah,
why don't you try to focus on the reasonings behind why you believe this? Don't attack a person personally. Because have you noticed that? Like, I mean, I've seen people
that's a
attack people's families. I mean, it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
yeah. I mean that it's absolutely got out of hand, and that to me that's personally what I was referring to when I kind of made that general post. It's like take the paranormal out of the situation, deal with it like you would just deal with normal everyday life,
Right.
and then handle it that way. Would you would you attack somebody's family? Would you talk about
No.
their kid?
Yeah.
Would you talk about their weight or their height or their sexual preference or anything like that? Has nothing to do with you, nor does it have anything to do with whatever footage you released or how you paranormal investigate. You're just flat out being a douchebag at that
Yes.
point, you
Yes.
know. But
Yes. 100%.
um, us personally, like we come to Sweet Springs, we would do some research and understand, the do's and don'ts, and we would, okay, this is what's allowed, this is what's not allowed, this is the way it is, and you just respect it and you go with it, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, enjoy the investigation and take in the surroundings, enjoy the beautiful buildings, like touch the building, like
Yes.
literally walk up there and just touch it. You are touching history.
Yes. Absolutely.
How
And
many people for the last 200 years touch the same spot? That to me is the mind blowing part.
oh yeah. And if you come to Sweet Springs, I mean, you'll definitely, because you have that, philosophy, you will absolutely love it, because sometimes I will stand there and I'll feel emotional, like as in a good way. Like I feel so grateful to be able to stand in this place and, appreciate that so many people have came here for various reasons over the years and stood in the very same spot that I was standing in awe of this huge building, and I'm like, I'm very grateful. I just feel very full of gratitude, that I can be standing there and touch the building, and picture it in its heyday, or when it's a nursing home, or, whatever was going on, just try to picture it and just be in the moment. You know what I mean? Just in the moment, because that's another key factor. In the moment. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm literally just trying to enjoy that moment, that piece of history. And it's easy to get away from that when you're on social media all the time and you're trying to go live and, whatever. Not that I'm against that, because I'm not. But, if you're trying to do that constantly and you're not focusing on being present, which is, how I feel in a lot of things in everyday life, people are not present. They're there thinking ahead, like, how am I going to get one up on this person? How am I going to argue
Right.
this? How am I
Right.
going to do that? They're not communicating. They're not in the moment of communicating with someone. And it's very sad, because it's like you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot of stuff.
I think everybody misinterprets the whole live aspect, especially on like TikTok. really think about it. Okay. Excuse me. Old World Paranormal Society decides to book Sweet Springs for a night. Okay. I
Mhm.
want to come down here. Now, there's nothing for me other than coming down to enjoy your guys' building and your spirits. There's no outcome for me. Doesn't matter what I want to film, what I want to document. There's no outcome. That's not a residential case or anything like that. So I book Sweet Springs. I come down. I want to stream live on TikTok. Why? Because I want to interact with X amount of people around the globe and show them Sweet Springs.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
look, investigate with me. Let me show you how fucking cool this place is. And you're going to be blown away. And then hopefully these people that are watching the next day are like, we need to go to Sweet Springs.
Yeah, which
You
is
know,
amazing. Yeah.
that should be the premise behind going live. Not how many llamas you got or how much
Right.
money you made that night. Did I get 10 universes or whatever?
I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. So that tells you, like I
It's
have no clue.
it's a little stab at the
I don't
spirit
have any
stuff.
llamas or universes
So,
other
but
than the present one.
uh, that to me that's what it's about. That's what we try to do and have some fun, So,
Yeah. I
but
mean, I would love to have you guys come down. Definitely, if you can make it happen, let me know, and I'll definitely try to get you something worked out.
is it open during the week?
Yes.
Okay.
We're open 7 days a week.
All right. Well, since you're booked out every weekend, I mean, I'm gonna have to come on a Tuesday.
Hey, you never know, because I always tell people still message me, because sometimes, some people will have to reschedule or cancel because they get things going on. And I do try very hard to work with everyone. Like you never hear about us keeping people's, deposits or not trying to work with them, because I know life happens, so I do
Right.
try to work with everybody. So we occasionally, when people do book, sometimes they'll realize they've got something, a conflict in their schedule, or a team member gets sick or something, and they'll want to reschedule it. So yeah, always contact me and just ask anyway. I tell everyone that, just it doesn't hurt to ask.
All right, Sean, before I lead on to our famous 3 questions, you got anything from TikTok? Or not TikTok, YouTube. Jeez. TikTok. Golly.
Well, at the
YouTube.
rate things are going, we may not have TikTok for too much longer. So
That's
that'll,
true.
I
that'll
personally,
help.
I don't care. I really
Yeah, I
don't.
don't care either. No, not really. Been a lot of interesting stuff that we've discussed tonight. I'll say that gotten a lot of great input from yet another person on some of these issues that are taking place in what we do now, and everybody has their opinions. You know what they say? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Uh, some opinions are better than others, but in the end, people have to realize it's not about getting followers. It's not about fortune and glory. It's not about 15 minutes of fame. If that's what it is for you, then you should be doing something else.
Yeah, like be a floor man like me. I want a
There you
flooring
go.
company.
TikTok live, putting in a floor.
So, Cindy, do you need new floors throughout this whole place? I know a company.
Oh yes, actually, we do. We may need your help. You'll come in there and you'll be like, "Oh wow, City, this needs to be fixed."
No, I'll just run out screaming, "This place is haunted. I'm never coming back."
Just make sure I get it on camera. I'm gonna put that.
Yeah.
That'll be our
If,
intro.
if you send 20 llamas, Nick will go back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's anyways. All right, Cindy, you ready for our infamous questions?
Sure.
All right.
I'm ready.
Tell all our listeners across the globe a weird fact or something interesting that most people would not know about you.
Okay. So when I was in college, I bungee jumped off the New River Gorge. Don't ask me what I was thinking. If you don't know what the New River Gorge is, you need to look it up, because it's really, yeah, it's a huge bridge in West Virginia.
Okay.
It's terrifying.
Look
And
that up, Sean.
I will never
I'm
do
doing
that
it
again.
right now.
I will never do that again, ever in my
We'll
life.
have, if you can get a picture of it, we could share it here on the screen.
I don't even know if anybody, I probably had some old school ones because, back then, I mean, we're talking, I was in college, that's a long time ago. So it was like the old school 35 millimeter cameras.
Now, when you bungee jump, so if this was that long ago, when you were falling with all that Aquanet, did your hair move?
I had a helmet on. I don't know. It was stuck to the helmet. The hair was definitely stuck to the helmet.
You tried to
Let me
get
tell
it.
you, I was sweating a lot. Let me tell you. I was terrified.
Yeah, that bridge doesn't even look safe.
No.
It don't look safe.
It looks like it's made out of popsicle sticks.
Is there a
It's
weight limit
definitely
on this
very
thing?
high. Yeah, it's scary.
That is a big bridge.
Yeah. I'm not
What's
gonna lie. I thought I was dying that day. Yeah. If they could have put up some machines maybe around me, it probably would have registered something.
what's the drop on it?
I can't even remember.
That's
I
what I'm
don't.
looking for.
Yeah, nowadays they're like, you got to be crazy to do that. I'm like,
Was it in the 80s?
no, it was 90s, the
Oh,
90s, the early, very early 90s.
like, if it was the 80s, we could just said it was cocaine and quaaludes, and you've been, oh, I understand why you did it.
Nobody would have believed it though. You know why? Because I didn't do any drugs. They would have been like, she must have been drunk. And I was not drunk.
Oh
At this
shit!
point, I wish I would have been.
Can I say that on YouTube, Sean?
Too late.
Okay, well, we'll find out tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, on to the second question. So, us paranormal investigators are really quirky about our dinners before investigation and our snacks. Us personally, we love to go to a Mexican restaurant because, why not just add extra sulfur through the
Right?
night while you're investigating? But during your investigation, Cindie, what is your go-to drinks and snacks?
So this is a good one because I have celiac. So I cannot have anything with gluten. And that really stinks because you can't eat bread, you can't eat a lot of pasta. You have
Oh
to
my
eat
god!
special kinds of gluten free. Yeah, so that really stinks. So luckily for me, that means I'm a little bit healthier when I eat. So I tend to eat grilled chicken salads and stuff like that because I don't want to have a stomach problem and I don't want to be sick during the investigation. Now, before I got diagnosed with celiac, I used to eat the worst things you could possibly think of. I would drink monster drinks, Red Bull, you name it. If it had caffeine, I was drinking it and drink it the whole time. And then, I would eat a lot of Taco Bell. I would eat a lot of chips. I would eat a lot of those fruit snack things, like, the little Welch's fruit snacks. I'd eat those all the time. I mean, I would pack full on pizzas and stuff. I mean, it used to be really funny and a running on joke with people that would investigate with me. I mean, I've been known to pull pizza out of my purse. So
How big is your purse?
yes, pizza in
Are you
my purse.
talking like a Totino's pizza or
Oh
like
no,
Pizza Hut?
like full on pizza slices. I would have them down in these Ziploc bags in my purse because if I wanted to pull out a slice of pizza and eat it, guess what?
First pizza and pocket bacon.
And then, for a while there, I was like, dang, this purse, I can't even carry everything in it. So then I got a backpack, started carrying my pizza in my backpack. But people like to investigate with me because I always had food.
Right on. So now it's
So
just water and grilled chicken salads.
yeah, it's really not exciting. And Gatorade. Sometimes I drink Gatorade because you like when you're walking around all over the place and stuff, depending on the weather and whatnot, yeah, I feel dehydrated sometimes. I don't know if anybody else gets that, but I
Middle,
feel
middle of
dehydrated.
middle of summer in West Virginia, probably really humid.
Yeah.
Walking around Sweet Springs, getting swamp ass. Yeah, you probably need some Gatorade.
Yeah, I try to avoid that as much as possible. It's not pleasant.
All right, third question. Here we go. All right, so you have one night. It's one investigation. You are only allowed to bring 3 items of equipment. What are you bringing?
Okay, so for equipment, I'd bring my EDI Plus,
Okay.
my recorder, and a camera, like as in video camera with night vision. Those would be my go-to.
Specific, any specific recorder?
No, I don't have a, yeah, I'm not one of those. I don't care as long as it works.
So you don't have a $5,000 broken recorder?
Nope, do not.
Me neither.
I feel a little left out sometimes, but no, it's just not worth that money to me.
Could spend $5,000 on a lot of other things than a broken recorder.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes I feel like some of the evidence that people, have me listen to on that, I'm like, that sounds like it's like jiggling around in your pocket all night. Like, what is that? No offense, but I can't. I would rather have clear sounds, not that, yeah.
Yeah, I have difficulty. Yeah, I've been out with Sean Austin quite a bit, or Austin Mater and them, and they're like, "Dude, can you hear it?" And I'm like, "No, I can't. I don't know what the hell that says."
Yeah,
Gurgling or something.
usually do you have to get the interpretation? Because I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, oh, it said this. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't hear that, but okay.
I give them the thumbnail response. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Cindie, take a couple minutes or an hour, I don't care, however long you want, plug away anything you got going on. Obviously, Sweet Springs, where they can go to book the place, and anything else you got.
Yeah. So to get a hold of me to book or ask questions or whatever you need to do, or if you want me to be on a podcast or whatnot, just, email me at sweetspringssanitarium@gmail.com and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Then for, some things I have coming up, I'm going to be on Paranormal Brew on Wednesday night with Taryn, and that's going to be fun. Yeah. And then I'm going to be a guest speaker at the Grafton Monster Festival, and it's the first annual. So how cool is that? Like, you guys got to come to this. I'm telling you right now.
Is that the bridge?
Yes, sir. 876 feet high.
Yes. Yes. So see why I was terrified? Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was young and dumb. So yeah, good times. But so there's that. But yeah, I've got the Grafton Monster Festival coming up, and that's June 15th and 16th here in Grafton. And some of the guys from Mountain Monsters are going to be at a dinner on Friday night, and then they're going to be there on Saturday. And then a bunch of other cool paranormal people and cryptid folks are going to be there as guests, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a first annual, so we're hoping we can get a lot of people to come out and have a good time. It'll be the premiere of the Grafton Monsters, so it'll be cool.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully, you guys will book for Sweet Springs. Come on down.
Absolutely. 100%. It is going to happen.
Awesome.
Sean, you got anything else?
Just this terrifying picture.
You're bringing back flashback memories. Stop it.
Yeah, that's
so many
just
things I can say.
It's like, oh, okay.
No, I don't think I had.
On a good note, if my bungee had ripped or torn or something, or just completely went into, my Aquanet hairspray might have saved me. This is probably a helmet in itself.
It would have
that is facts. That is facts right there.
She could have wingsuited it down to the ground.
Can you imagine?
The bungee snaps. She takes the helmet off, and her hair just floats her down to the river.
Yes.
Lord.
As much hairspray as I used back then, that would not surprise me at all.
Oh, man.
Yeah, definitely check out my friends on Spooky Appalachia. They did a really cool video on Sweet Springs. So that was also a pretty cool thing. They're going to be with me at the Grafton Monster Festival too. So that'll be something kind of cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and dealing with us for an hour and a half. And we look forward to coming down and seeing you at Sweet Springs. Now, is this place open all year round or?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. We're open all year round, 7 days a week. And thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you all.
Well, we hope you had a good time.
Having you.
Yeah, I had a blast.
On to next week, Sean, another location owner.
Adam Kimmel.
Adam.
Yay!
It's going to be one for the history books.
It, yes, it will.
You guys are gonna have
We
a good
may
time
not
with
have episode 113.
that.
We might be canceled after next week, but we'll see
We
what happens.
might be. That's all right.
Thank you,
We might be
everybody. Thank you.
canceled because you mentioned cocaine and Quaaludes, so we'll see
I
how that
did.
works out.
You just said it twice. Now we're definitely canceled.
Yeah, we're done.
Thank you, Cindie, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for listening to
Thank you,
another
guys.
wonderful episode of the Old World Paranormal Podcast. Awesome. YouTube, thank you guys for tuning
Thank you,
in.
YouTube people, all 21 of you who stuck around for the whole show. We appreciate you.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much.
We'll send you the link when Sean has this up for what do we we're on? Apple, Amazon,
Everything but
Spotify.
Google, because there is no Google Podcasts anymore.
Yeah. So we'll send you the links.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Enjoy
Thank
your night.
you.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Hell no, I wouldn't jump off that bridge.
No, that's insane.
876 feet.
YouTube people, thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate you. Thanks for all the new subscribers tonight. And we'll be back next Monday with Adam Kimmel. You definitely don't want to miss that one.
Adam Kimmel next Monday, and a surprise guest the following week. You will find out who that person is right before we go live.
Yeah.
You got, share this out. It's going to be interesting in the next 2 weeks. So,
Gina, thank you. Exploring with Sam, thank you. Thank you all very much. Thanks, Bill Walter.